Hi. So I'd like to start off. I'd like to start off by talking a little bit about myself and my background. So my parents, they came from two foreign countries, Peru and Colombia. As some of you may know, that from the upcoming World Cup, we're pretty excited about. We're pretty excited about the World Cup. I still have yet to decide what team I'm going to root for. Anyways, my parents came to the U.S. Even though from different countries, they came for the same reason: opportunity for a better life. And when they came to the US, they did find that, but they found it in their community. Um, I was lucky enough that my parents shielded my young eyes from whatever problems that we had going through as I was a kid. And I was lucky enough that they had me focus on my studies. They almost created like this bubble for me where I was surrounded by my community, and this made me embrace my community even more. At the time, I was not self-aware that what my parents did, and now I am very, very grateful for looking back. So a little more recently, at my college, Becker College, where one of their major pillars is the interactive media major, or game development, where a majority of the population is what you would call gamers. And we were mostly stick to our own social groups, our small social groups, and we just love video games. And so from this community, it was very different from the community I was used to back at home. And so the difference really, even though I was very comfortable where I was at Becker, there wasn't much room for growth. So when I signed up for the College for Social Innovation Semester in the City program, I was very inclined by the pitch that they gave me of Union Capital Boston, where I would be working on redesigning and revamping their app. But Union Capital Boston is more than just an app. They're about networking, community building, and relationships. I thought, these would be good skill sets to acquire, and I'd be using them for going into the working world. However, there was a lot more to it than just that. With my special project, I had to focus specifically on designing an app for the community. So it was all about them. And UCB definitely provided these opportunities for me, but it was at these provided spaces called network nights. And at these network nights, you just get to know the actual community themselves and mingle with them. However, for me, at first, it was very intimidating, and I was very timid to engage with them. So I was very intimidated to engage with them. However, after a few network nights, I started to notice that I was starting to get the presence of the community. I was starting to understand them a little bit better. And this was very prominent on our East Boston network nights. And I started to actually see my own family members within the community themselves. And this was especially for the East Boston moms, where one of them were talking about, why was my son playing Xbox, FIFA with a 30-year-old all the way in the UK? And, and I totally understood that. I could connect with that. And so after that, I started to feel that the timid layer that I created for myself started to peel back. Even though I wasn't completely out of my own shell, I started to feel that this was a good starting point for me. This is where I was able to start to give back to community. And after this, I started to connect really well with the community themselves. I really started to know what their needs and wants so I could implement them into the app for them. And I started to feel that I was actually being utilized and I was being part of the community, and I started to feel a part of the UCB family. And so if there's anything I learned from Union Capital Boston, UCB, is that whatever you have, whatever you can give, whether it's something big or just something small, we can always grow together and help each other. And with that, I like to end with a quote from my mentor, Laura. Do as I say, not as I do. Thank you.